Pelane Phakgadi is with the Minister of Police, who is in that volatile, quite tense situation right now in the KwaZulu-Natal province. Pelane, over to you. Let's hear what the Minister has got to say.
Definitely, thank you very much. Thabo. Volatile situation indeed, but the Minister is on the ground to assess and as well as to perhaps give us some updates as how far along is the government and the SAP is going to be dealing decisively with the looting measures that we've seen. And Dozie, thank you for joining us on 405. Let's first begin here. Has the police perhaps failed to foil the lootings that we have seen here, in particular Durban?
Well, indeed, one will concede that things could have been better than what we see now. I have explained this thing and repeat that police were not trained for the simultaneous upheaval of almost the whole surroundings. As you know, that KZN and Gauteng, simultaneously, there were these upheavals, especially in KZN. Durban, which is the biggest region, Yomarisbek, Yombangeni has been South Coast. I think it did happen though in a little way. Your corridor, your entry corridor, your Cato Ridge and all that, Chesterville and Maran Hill, just simultaneously so. That indeed gave the police the extra work where they had to get a backup from the South African National Defence Force. Unfortunately, that did not go too fast for that backup to come, but I'm glad to say they are beginning to roll in, the figures are beginning to look better. That's why even where we are today in Phoenix, you have seen the soldiers that have been deployed. Where we started and we are still going in Lamontville, you have seen them, they are deployed there. So life is going to be better for the police and the soldiers, and indeed, as we have said, that this matter, we need to arrest it, reverse it, and prevent. I think we're at the level of preventing it going forward now.
Let's talk about here in Phoenix. We've seen, when I drove into here, I got scared. Hundreds of men have pangas, some of them have guns here. There was a volatile situation here in recent days. The police, how are they acting to arrest the situation?
But what is worse is that he has taken a serious racial connotation, which is going to be a problem in the medium and long term. And we'll have to really work hard on reversing that. We can't allow the racial tensions that you have witnessed here. The men that you have seen here and the roads that are barricaded, the people having pangas and the other stuff, this community where we are now is predominantly Phoenix, which is an Indian community. Just next year will be Ozwelisha, Pambai, where dominantly Africans will live. So the problem of the standoff here is between Africans and Indian origin South Africans. That needs to be stopped. People have lost their lives. We have lost 15 people here. Police will have to work on that. One thing that we'll have to work on it at all costs is that people that murder people will have to be arrested. That cannot be compromised. The second thing is that those people that are killed are still in the mortuary around here, and they are even prevented coming to see and identify their own loved ones. Those are the things that we need to correct. One identified a big issue by the committee led by the Premier here is to engage communities and facilitate the dialogue. And is indeed there has to be a dialogue between this community of Phoenix, community of Finanda, Zwelisha and Pambai.
I'd assume that as well coming here to try and reinforce the police and as well as the SANDF. I've heard there's police from Limpopo, the Western Cape and the Free State here. We've seen some of them and interacted with them. Quite shocking. 15 people died here, some of them from gun wounds and pangas. And I think it must be a worrying factor as well that it so seems that a lot of people have guns, in particular, even in the privates, the suburbs that we've driven in, where people are claiming that they're protecting their own properties. It must be a worrying factor that so many people have guns. So I'd say even more than the police do.
Well, That's one thing that maybe is not the time to check on them now, the legality or the legal guns or illegal firearms. So, but it doesn't matter. The question of taking the law in your own arm is something that needs to be avoided. It's something that needs to be prevented. That's why we'll have to sit down with South Africans and work on the reversal of the situation that have prevailed. It cannot be allowed that people, they take the law on their hand. It might be relevant in a certain time, but going forward, it can tend to be a very bad vigilantism, people believing that they can have their enclaves where they run their mini governments and all. That cannot be allowed. Hence, it's important that when things are still warm, still hot now, we begin a reversal by engaging those communities to say, maybe in the spur of the moment it happened, but it can't be the way forward.
Taking my luck here, might be an operational question, but do you have timelines as to how you're going to be dealing with all the looting? The warehouses are the ones that are seemingly being targeted. Is there any ideal timeline to say to try and end the impasse that you find yourself here in KwaZulu-Natal in particular?
Well, as I've said, that I think we've reached the era of prevention. It would be good that people that you arrest, at least you saw in Lamontville, that big warehouse which was raided. People, they took stack and stack of goodies there, but they left it lying. When the enforcement, we believe, and we must work towards that, they don't even start going forward. With the support of the police, as you say, from other provinces and soldiers having come here, I think we'll have to work hard that we don't have any other place that is broken in. But having said so, even those that have taken and looted these things to their houses, they must know that this is beginning. Everybody will have to be able to show us the receipt. Those flat screens, those fridges and all that, maybe is a call that we make now. Prepare the receipt. Because if we come there and there is no receipt and there is operation keep a receipt, life is still going to be tough. They mustn't think that they've scored, much is coming. These teams of the police, once this goes down, as we believe it will go down soon, you will be by yourself, but no house, we're not going to kick in and make sure that we want a receipt. If it is not a receipt, is what you looted, and we also loot yourself. We get the thing you loot, and we loot yourself out of your house.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Ndosi. And you're welcome now to join us in Lamontville. We've been there for a few hours now. Thank you very much. That's the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele, that's just giving us an indication as to how far the operations are concerned in the area. They will be going to where we were reporting a little bit earlier on in Lamontville to try and assess the situation and really, Thabo, to check all those stacks of consumables that are packed there on how they are going to be kept safe overnight, and to try by all means to ensure that nobody comes through to try and loot them once more. Thabo?